This is a course in order to make your customer or employee onboarding more effective. My name is Celina Mattocks, founder of Lead, Live, Learn, LLC. The objectives of this session are four. One, to consider how to strengthen your organization's onboarding effectiveness. Two, to explore bundling skills up front. Three, to review how virtual reality or VR can lower your learning costs. And four, to review how to use VR to increase team engagement and retention. Look, I started my career in learning and development, internal HR, and program management. The second decade was external management consulting, where I learned that too many initiatives failed because teams weren't skilled or clear on the direction and purpose of the projects. My company is working to bridge the generations of the workforce by using emerging technology. Ultimately, the goal is to benefit humanity in an age of AI. So, why is onboarding important? Onboarding is your initial experience with a product, a service, or an employer. This is the opportunity for you to put on your best self so that you create loyal customers and loyal employees. For more information about me and my training and services, you can visit www.leadlivelearn.com. Now, look, we all know that onboarding is a problem and has been. It is persistent, and now so much so that it's having massive Gen Z impacts. Now, only 12% of all employees are confident in their onboarding experience, and this translates to customers too. People don't believe that they do a good job of onboarding. There's high attrition rates in companies and also in subscription turnovers. But the average employee in tech, it has a 13% attrition rate, meaning more than 1 in 10 of your colleagues will be gone by the end of the year. Now, when we drill down to the younger generation specifically, only 39% of Gen Z feels prepared to excel in their role. This has a direct correlation with their onboarding experience. And finally, the most stark statistic of all is that 65% of these Gen Z workers are leaving their jobs within 12 months of hire. More than 1 in 2 Gen Z workers will leave their job. Well, what does onboarding entail and why is it important? Onboarding, as said before, is your initial experience with a product, a service, or a place of employment. There are typically day one activities, week one activities, and year-long activities for onboarding a new customer or new employee. On day one, you're oriented to the experience, what to expect, where to go, what hours you're supposed to work, or how you access your product. And there's, in the employment scenario, HR and administrative setup. These are forms that you may need to file, and these are laptops being issued if there are, or phones. And as a customer, this could be the download and installation of a product and signing up for a particular service in relation to the product. And finally, there's a cultural and social integration that's expected to happen on day one so that you know what's rewarded and what are the rules of the road around here. On week one, there are typically activities such as compliance training. There's a technology and equipment setup if you're expected as an employee to use particular softwares or hardwares. And then you do ultimately want to establish a relationship with your manager in the first week so that you know what your cadence is for checking in to make sure that you're on track and you understand the goals being set for you to succeed in your role. Finally, all year long, in your first year as a new employee or a customer to a product, you may be provided with role-specific training. This is taking you from your current skill level to where you need to be in order to fulfill the responsibilities of your job, or in terms of a product, maximize the uses of that product so that you maintain loyalty. And there's ongoing support and engagement. Often we see individuals get their training and development plans, so it's not only around their role function, but it's around behavioral skills and technical skills that are to be acquired that year as well. Finally, in the first year of employment, we look at performance evaluations and performance achievement. How does one structure their goal setting, their mid-year check-in, and ultimately their year-in review to look for those performance opportunities and compensation enhancements as applicable? The customer may get surveys throughout the year asking their satisfaction with the product or the service to ensure that things can pivot for your enhanced loyalty. Now, there's a lot of activities that are comprised within those day one activities, those week one long activities, and the yearly activities. A typical onboarding program has 45 core activities. Earlier, I mentioned some of the higher level that are to be performed, but this is very onerous for both the employee to absorb as well as the manager to take time away from their busy jobs developing, deploying products and services, as well as mentoring and coaching and guiding their teams. This is why most onboarding programs are just not equipped to succeed the way that an employee or a customer needs it to. The amount of time required is too much. The amount of time required is a setup for failure unless there's a new way. We are now seeing a shift in the market. 10 years ago, we saw the same shift when instructor-led onboarding facilitation occurred in the classroom in person, and the trend started migrating to e-based learning or online learning. This was exciting as it was then, 10 years ago, the future of learning. It allowed some wiggle room in terms of time and dedication from the manager to be able to send their employee or their customers frequently asked questions of the product and service or their job, and onboarding materials that they could cover self-paced and tracked in their learning management system. Fast forward 10 years later, and we are now using virtual reality for onboarding and for learning to create immersive environments in micro learning doses because we have seen that there is lower cost to providing this experience for customers and users. Lufthansa has seen a 70 to 80% reduction. In terms of satisfaction with their learning, 67% more than 2 and 3 VR learners in the behavioral skills or soft skills report higher engagement than traditional e-learning. The stark statistic of a 300% higher confidence in skill acquisition cannot be ignored as the effectiveness of virtual reality proves out. And finally, we all know we don't want to sit in these sessions for longer than 30 minutes at a time. Our attention spans do not allow for this anymore. So, how can we create learning experiences and onboarding in these micro learning doses? Virtual reality may be the answer. But who else is using them? 91% of businesses have already adopted or plan to adopt VR technology or AR, augmented reality. There are billions of dollars, 340, spent by companies on employee development and training each year. So there is money to allocate towards this new wave of onboarding and training. Currently, more than 30% of the global market is in the United States of 171 million users of virtual reality. And interestingly, there's an anticipated growth of 5 times, as noted in the chart, by the year 2032. And the market of virtual reality and the use cases for onboarding and training can't be ignored. But how do you bring skill bundling into onboarding so that your customers are upskilled or your employees are upskilled from day one? Our company, Lead Live Learn, has a catalog of onboarding training that can be adapted for your particular office or product's needs. This allows them to gain familiarization with the environment before they ever set foot into your store or your office. They get to teleport around the area or manually glide and learn how to set up conference spaces if they need to, or ask the front desk where parking validation might be. Once the user is completed with their onboarding navigational tour, they will go into a conference room to get one-on-one attention with their human resources HR professional or with their IT help desk, their information technology help desk, to answer questions that are frequently asked of the particular customer or employee's persona. Here's where it gets really good. Should the store or should the place of employment desire specific skill sets of its users and its people, we have professional communications course so that you can learn the techniques to effective communication for both the initial employee as well as a first-time manager. And you can review scenarios and practice them yourself so that you understand how to handle particularly difficult conversations. And we all know that these happen often in the workplace. Additionally, we have customer service training where the user actually practices an angry customer scenario and learns a framework on how to respond with empathy and turn that angry customer into a lifelong loyal one. Personal leadership is so important for taking initiative and action, as well as managing your time and prioritizing well, living more intentionally. This catalog of soft skills and leadership training can be hooked into the onboarding experience so that from day one, the employee is set up for success and the customer is onboarded to the product in order to maximize its effectiveness and its use to create loyal customers. Lead, Live, Learn can do this all in virtual reality, but sometimes VR isn't the answer. So we also provide this e-learning on the computer and instructor-led in person. We focus on attracting, developing, and leadership skills for all customers and all employees. We have onboarding for executives. This looks different than onboarding for customers or managers and employees. We can take a focused look at the emerging skill sets that will be required of the role and create training for that role. In developing their capabilities, we have professional communication, we have first-time manager training, personal leadership training, living intentionally and igniting action and passion to reduce that complacency we all feel at times, and customer service and sales training. Lead, Live, Learn can facilitate. We can speak with groups. We can integrate our course offerings and our onboarding into your learning management systems or LMSs and provide the strategy around the rollout and ultimately roll it out while factoring in all of the cloud and the artificial intelligence requirements around it. We hope that you have taken away a lot from this training session. The outcomes were we considered how to strengthen your organization's onboarding effectiveness. We did this by looking at day one, week one, and year one activities. We explored how to bundle skills up front by making courses such as personal leadership or communication skills or customer service training part of the onboarding experience. We reviewed how VR can lower your costs by not having to travel, not having to spend the time in managers' sessions away from what they're working on, with using these micro learning experiences that are fully immersive instead. And we reviewed how VR can increase team engagement and retention, all before they step foot in the office. Thank you for your time. We hope to hear from you at Lead, Live, Learn. My name is Celina Mattocks. Take care and thank you.